So do you also use Elementor to collect the details of your leads from your website? Then this video is definitely for you. So hello all, welcome back to Pabbly, and in this video we are going to understand how to connect website forms to Salesforce CRM. So like you, I also use Elementor to collect the details of my leads from my own website. And now what I want is that as soon as a new form submission is made in Elementor, I want to create a new contact in Salesforce using the same details. So to do this, we are going to create a connection between Elementor and Salesforce, and we're going to create this connection without knowing any programming or coding language using an amazing automation software which is Pabbly Connect. So if you also want to create this amazing automation for your own business, then for that you have to come with me towards my screen. Welcome to my screen everyone. So let's move on further and create this connection between Elementor and Salesforce. So Elementor is the website form which I am using. So to do this, I'm going to open a new tab and search for the landing page of Pabbly Connect simply by typing pabbly.com/connect in my browser. Now it is opening the landing page of Pabbly Connect, using which we're going to create a connection between Elementor, or you can say website form, and Salesforce. But before we move on further and create this connection, I'll just show you something really helpful. This is the Pabbly community where automation users, business owners and marketers connect. Pabbly community is a space where users share their ideas, workflow tips, doubts and solutions. So if you're stuck at any step, the community is a great resource for guidance. And if you also want to join this amazing community, the link is given in the description box below. Make sure to check it out. Let's head back towards the landing page of Pabbly Connect and create this automation. For that, we have two options. One is sign in and the another one is sign up for free. So if you are a new user, you can simply click on this sign up for free and you're going to get 100 of tasks free every month to explore the application. But over here, I am an existing user, so I'm simply going to click on this button which says sign in. And once we click on this sign in, it is opening all Pabbly apps, and over we're going to see all the tools and applications offered by Pabbly. But in today's video, we are going to use Pabbly Connect because we are connecting different applications. So I'm going to click on this access now right over here to access my Pabbly Connect account. And now it is opening the dashboard of my Pabbly Connect account, and to get started, I'm going to click on this button which says create workflow. And now it is asking me to select the workflow builder, the new one or the classic one. So the new workflow builder is modern, faster and flexible, and ideal for those who want a modern interface. While the classic one on the other hand is stable and has a familiar approach, and ideal for those who want to try it and test its setup. So you can use any one from this. I'm going to use this new one, so I'm going to go towards the select of the new one. Now for the workflow name, I'm going to enter the name of my workflow as Connect Website Forms to Salesforce CRM. And now for the folder, I'm going to simply select my folder which is automations. So on my dashboard, you can see multiple folders which I have already created, in which I save my workflows. Also, if you also want to create a new folder, you can go towards this create new folder button and create your own. So let's move on further and click on this button which says create after entering the workflow name and selecting the folder. Now it is opening the most important window of our automation, which is our workflow window. So this is the most important window because we have trigger and action in this. Trigger and actions are the two main principles on which our workflow is going to run. Trigger means when this happens and action means do this. So by this you can understand that the trigger starts the process and the actions are results towards the same. So to get started, we simply have to click on this add trigger button, and now for the trigger application, I'm going to search for Elementor and select it. So for me, the trigger application is Elementor because for my website, I use Elementor forms. But if you use some another form, you can simply select that as trigger because Pabbly supports most of the website forms. Let's move on further and select the trigger application. And now after selecting the trigger application, let's select the trigger event as new form submission. After selecting this, we have to click on this button which says connect, and now it has given us the web URL using which we're going to create a connection between Elementor and Pabbly. Pabbly Connect. So what we have to do is we have to copy this webhook URL and then open the form for which we want to create this automation. So as you're going to see that this is the form for which I want to create this automation. Now what I have to do is I have to simply go to this button which says edit with Elementor. So I'm going to click on this edit with Elementor. So you have to keep in mind that your WordPress account is logged in before you click on this edit with Elementor, because Elementor is a plugin of WordPress only. Now let's move on further. As you can see, it is opening a window something like this. Now click on this form fields, and after clicking on this form fields, you have to go towards this left end of the site towards this actions after submit. Now we have to add the action. So for that we have to click on this add action button and add the action name webhook. And once we add this webhook, you're going to see that the webhook will appear right over here too. So open this new appeared webhook, and now it is asking me for the webhook URL. So let's paste the webhook URL which we copied from the workflow. And after pasting this webhook URL, we have to click on this button which says publish. And once we click on this publish, with this we have successfully created a connection between Elementor and Pabbly Connect. But now it is saying waiting for webhook response. And how are we going to capture this webhook response? By doing a test submission. So to do this test submission, I'm going to go back towards my form and click on this preview changes, and I'm going to fill in this form. Let's say I'm going to fill in this form as smart user. For the email, I'm going to use it as this. For the mobile number, I'm going to keep it as this over here. Now for the city, I'm going to keep it as Bangalore. For the type of apartment, I'm going to keep it as 2 BHK. For the date, let's select the date as 31st of August and click on this button which says submit. And once we click on this submit, it is saying your submission was successful. With this, we have successfully completed the test submission. Now I'm going to open my workflow, and you're going to see that 6 seconds ago Pabbly captured the response. You're going to see all the details are exactly the same which we entered during our test submission. And with this, we have successfully completed our trigger step. Now let's move on further and add the contact using the same details. For that, I'm going to click on this add new action step, and now for the action application, I'm going to search for Salesforce, and we are going to select Salesforce over here. For the action event, we have to select it as create contact and click on this connect. Now in order to create a connection between Salesforce and Pabbly Connect, we have two options: add a new connection or select an existing connection. So if you have already created this connection, you can go towards this select existing connection and then save. But if you haven't, you have to follow me, click on add a new connection, and now we have to click on this blue button which says connect with Salesforce. And once we click on this connect with Salesforce, Pabbly is asking me for some permissions. So I have already logged in my Salesforce account. That's the reason that directly it is asking me for permissions. But if you haven't logged in your Salesforce account, first Pabbly is going to ask you for the login credentials of your Salesforce account. You have to enter the email address or username and the password, and then only going to get this permissions page. And once you come over here towards this permissions page, what you have to do is you simply have to click on this button which says allow and give Pabbly all the permissions it is asking for, because your data is safe with us. No need to worry. But I'll suggest you log in your applications before starting with the automation. It makes the procedure very easy. Now let's move on further. It is asking me for the first name, last name and the rest of the details. So one by one, I'm going to enter the details which are required, and we are going to enter the details, but we are not going to type the details manually like this, but instead we are going to map it. So you must be wondering what is mapping. So mapping is a method by Pabbly which means inserting the data from the previous step. And when we insert the data from the previous step, automatically our data becomes dynamic and change with every new response received. So one by one, I'm going to map all these details and move on further. Like I mentioned that I'm going to map only the details which are required and click on this save and send test request. And once we click on this save and send test request, you're going to see that we have received the positive response. This is the ID and it is saying success true. So this means that we have successfully created a new contact in our Salesforce account. Alright, so let's open our Salesforce and go towards this contact section, and you're going to see that a new contact has been created. You're going to see the same name, same phone number and the same email address using which a contact has been created. And these were exactly the same details which we entered during our test submission. And with this, we have successfully completed our workflow, but now I'm going to test this workflow in real time time, and I'm going to give you a real-time example too. So let's open our Elementor and fill in this form once again. So for the first name, I'm going to keep it as new. For the last name, let's keep it as user only. For the email address, I'm going to keep it as new5566@pabblytunes.com. And for the phone number, I'm going to keep it as this. Now for the city, I'm going to keep it as Bangalore. For the type of the apartment, 2 BHK, and I'm going to select the date and click on this submit. And once we click on this submit, with this we have successfully submitted this form. So now let's open our Salesforce and refresh this contacts page. And once we refresh this page, you're going to see a new contact has been created with the new details, be it the same email address, same phone number, and the same name. And with this we have successfully completed our workflow, and now we don't have to come back in again to our workflow to click on save and send as request. All of this is going to happen in backend. We can just sit back and relax. So yes, now go try this amazing automation for your own business too, because right now we are offering a free trial of Pabbly Connect. And while trying, if you have any questions related to the video or the workflow, you can directly comment on this video. And for your reference, I'll simply attach the workflow link in the description box below. You can check it out. See you in the next video with many more automation tips, everyone. Thank you for watching. So not only these applications, but with the help of Pabbly Connect, you can connect many more applications. And now if you have any doubts, you can reach us at support@pabbly.com. If you have any queries, you can reach us at forum.pabbly.com. And if you have any pricing related issues, you can follow this URL. And now go try this amazing automation for your own business too, because right now we are offering a free trial of Pabbly Connect.